Hello and welcome to the Duquesne Sports Pregame Show. I'm Jack Morgan. Alongside me, Nick Fernbaugh and Duquesne. They're in a pretty good winning way right now. They're looking to continue that at home with a matchup with LaSalle on Wednesday night. So, hey, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the Dukes. Duquesne winners 5 of their last 6. They're playing some really good ball right now here, Nick. What has been the key to their success?
I feel like it's been a combination of things. They've been able to bounce back when they've needed resiliency, especially these last 2 games against GW and Bonaventure. I mean, Brady can attest, as me and him we're watching from the background when we had three freshmen who were doing a great job, by the way, calling the game here at DSTV. But they need a lot of resiliency because they blew a big first half lead in the Bonnie's game before they were able to bounce back. And I feel like where this team has shined so well is that it's been a number of guys who have been able to step up and give big contributions. Yeah. So it's not just been one guy, where I feel like when we were watching last year, it felt like a lot of it had to come through Trey Dinkins or, Kareem stepping up and making a lot of plays. It felt like only one guy could really do one specific. They played a very, I would say, rigid way of winning games. Where this year, I feel like they have 2 or 3 guys capable of getting big rebounds, 2 or 3 guys capable of dishing out passes at an elite rate, getting steals, playing very unselfish basketball, where I feel like this team is really, really shined and coming to their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Duquesne with a 78-73 win over St Bonaventure last time out. Talked about it, had a big first half lead. It was 12 at the half, but don't let that fool you. They were up by, I believe, 15 plus. For majority of that first half, they're playing really good basketball. All came crashing down in the second half, but they found a way to win despite being outscored by seven, in that second half of play. And they were down at multiple points late in the second half. My apologies. So then you look even further back, and this Duquesne team won against GW at home. It got close, but it ended up being all right. They found a way out of that one as they blew it towards the end. George Mason was one where they came from behind and had some gutsy late-game shots to win. So now you've seen them do it against George Mason. You've seen them do it against St Bonaventure. I think that while they have picked up their home record, we haven't really seen that necessarily at home, which is the ironic part of all of it.
No.
And you're hoping that doesn't have to come against LaSalle. But the stretch you have coming up, you might need some of those moments. Their final 2 home games are LaSalle, Davidson, and Richmond. Chances are, I think one of those ends up being close. And I think you got to hit some shots. You haven't done it at home, but you sure as heck have done it on the road.
I would argue they have been able to do a decent bit of it, at home, especially these last 2.
To the level, though, of what they've done.
But I do get what you mean. Yeah, on the road, they've had some unbelievable moments, like the Davidson and the Bonnie's game. But I think, and George Mason, they've had some really unbelievable road performances this season. But I think lost within that was that George Washington game, because while they didn't really have a super big moment, you could define a big moment, which was Alex Williams' 3 in the Bonnie's game. There was probably half a dozen moments we could talk about in the Davidson game. And then George Mason, it was Alex and Jimmy stepping up and delivering on all fronts for this team. And Dave Dixon. So, there was a lot. Whereas GW, it was like a shootout. They didn't keep shooting the way they did. They were not going to beat George Washington for the game plan they came out with. So I think it's one of these moments where they haven't really had those big defining moments at home. Although I'd argue the St. Louis game was another pretty big defining moment. That stretch where they forced a 7-0 run to get it within 1 or 2.
However, the result did not.
They turned into a win,
and they had multiple chances at the end.
They did.
Then did not make a shot. So I think that's where I'm getting with it. Doesn't mean that they've been bad. It's just that they haven't necessarily been able to show that at home. But also with this new way that Duquesne is playing in terms of winning games and stuff like that, I don't think they've had the opportunity to. So let's hope. Obviously, if you like college basketball and you like A10 basketball, I mean, you probably know that Duquesne's going to drop a few of these games because it's A10 basketball.
Yes.
And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, but I think this Duquesne team will have some opportunities to show that at home as we go along here. In the final part of the season, I think maybe now we can go to around the A10.
Oh, yeah.
While we're on the topic of
kick it off?
A10 chaos, here's the one game. You started off with the one game I know you got to go to
Oh, yeah.
from Friday nights.
Obviously, it was the St. Louis. No, I'll start with the St. Louis game because St. Louis mopped the floor, beat Loyola Chicago, but it was first versus last. So, who's
Shocker.
shocked there? Not me.
Not me.
No. Loyola Chicago's been really bad, but lost within that. George Mason, who has been really struggling since our contest against Duquesne, I think they've lost 3 of their last 4, I believe, with their only win being essentially a game that the Bonnies blew.
Dude, we
right
broke
after
them. Duquesne broke them.
Got smacked around by Richmond and lost by 11, I believe, or it was like 10 or 11. And then they lost by 19 at home to George Washington, who, again, I think a lot of people rated highly, but at the same time, that just cannot happen when you're a team sitting in the top 3. That's really bad.
Especially when your chances at large are on absolute life support.
They're gone
That's
after
that's your killer now. So
I think they were gone the minute they lost to Richmond.
GW is now 3rd in the conference. Or not GW, GMU, my apologies. GMU is now 3rd in the conference. So that was a big shuffle this weekend as George Mason lost 2 straight and VCU added on to their win streak by making it 9.
Yep.
With 2 wins last week. And St. Joe's, they've lost 2 in a row, which is very nice for Duquesne because they're able to now pull into a 3-way tie with the Flyers and Hawks.
Who Dayton actually, a big matchup there. It was against Dayton. Davidson was a really good game in which Dayton took care of business.
Here's your problem with that 3-way tie. You have the tiebreaker against
None of them.
You
They
don't
lost
get to
to
play
Dayton,
St. Joe's again.
and they
You
lost
get to
St.
play
Joe's.
Dayton. You got to play Dayton, but then you're really in just a crapshoot. So the Dayton game's important. You have to win that, not just for the tiebreak, but also for pushing for a top 4 spot, which is a very real possibility with how the A10 has shaken out so far this year. St. Joe's, who do they play this week? Oh gosh, well, St. Joe's is Bonaventure and Loyola Chicago. So
Duquesne's just gonna have to keep.
Duquesne might have to keep pace this week with Salle, as we're talking about here, but then also Dayton on Saturday. So a lot to look forward to for this Duquesne Dukes team. And looking at the table, you now have Duquesne at 6, but then behind them is Davidson. So that Davidson matchup, once Davidson comes into town,
It's gonna be crucial.
2 weeks from this, so not this week, but next week, will be massive. Because that could really decide that 4 through 7 mark of the A10 standings, with contests like Duquesne versus Dayton, Duquesne versus Davidson, all in the span of a week.
Yeah.
So should be pretty exciting basketball to come in the A10 conference. Let's get to our players to watch and kind of go over in this segment what the Dukes need to look out for on the Salle Explorers side.
Whew. It's been a rough year for LaSalle. I mean,
Certainly.
it's definitely going to be interesting where LaSalle kind of goes about their play, because one of the biggest things I've kind of seen with this team is they got 2 guys who I think can rebound very well, and they give them a lot of scoring as well, being Josiah Harris and Rob Dockery. And I'm going to highlight both here, because for 2 guys averaging over 5 rebounds a game, over 5.5 a game, especially with the rest of the team that isn't necessarily bad at rebounding, but I don't know, just a team that has struggled with offense like LaSalle this year, sitting near the bottom of the pack in 3-point shooting and scoring, especially in conference play, they've really struggled. They're only averaging about 65 points a game. I feel like if they're gonna win, they need they need a lot of second chances. And so I'm gonna be looking towards. I'll choose Rob Dockery as my main choice, the 6'6" guard from DC, because if they aren't getting good production down low, whether if it's a guard or a forward, they're going to have no chance against a team that I think can rebound very well in the A-10 in Duquesne.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a pretty good pick there. I'm going to go with Jaden Marshall for the reasoning. If you look at the Dayton game, which they're able to win, and Dayton and Duquesne with the same record, so you're talking about a similar kind of matchup here, and also a matchup with a team in the top part of the standings. Jaden Marshall had a game high, and it was a game high by leaps and bounds. 25 points on 7 of 11 shooting, efficient shooting, helped them to that victory. The loss they had to SLU, which is a 24-point loss, not good at all. Jaden Marshall, my apologies, 2 of 10, 7 points. So I think that it's simple. If you're able to get Jaden Marshall to play good basketball, you stand a good chance of winning. If he's not shooting well, you're going to have a really tough time taking down the Duquesne Dukes. Also, the leading scorer is Jaden Marshall with 12.4 games. So a little balanced scoring for them. They have 4 guys with 9 points per game or higher, but I think Jaden Marshall, obviously the leader of this team, they're going to need him to play some good basketball on the road on Wednesday night against the Dukes. And as for Duquesne, there's obviously a lot of guys you can go with for your player to watch, but who are you going with?
Ooh.
Start with you.
Got to put me on the spotlight.
Well,
no, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, it's a tough one. I feel like there's so many guys who have been able to step up and contribute. But I'm going to keep going to probably who has been my favorite player for this entire season, Alex Williams. I went Jimmy last time, and I think
you have won this a couple times. So you've been on a Williams tear.
I've been on the Williams tear.
3 pre-games, yeah.
But I feel like, I honestly believe that these two are, I would say, the guys playing the best basketball right now in conference play. And that's saying a lot because a lot of the team has stepped up and delivered in a variety of ways. But I truthfully believe Alex Williams has been so good. There's a reason he has the highest free throw shooting. He gets a lot of chances at the line, and he makes them all.
Yeah.
He is so efficient when he takes his shots. And that's a key thing for me is I've always been a firm believer if you're not going to put up a lot of shots, you need to be efficient. And someone like Alex Williams is the textbook definition of efficient when shooting. He sunk that clutch, and I mean clutch three against Bonaventure to give him a big win there. Put up 12 in what was a good effort there, 12 points and 6 boards. I mean, this guy, and again, I always bring this up because it's not like Alex Williams is the tallest guy out there. He's 6'5". And he can go up there and beat guys who are 6'11", 7 feet. Like, he beats genuine centers 2 balls because he has nothing but pure effort and fight. And that's why I love his game. I love his shot. And I think this is a guy, if you want to win a game like this, you need to go out there and body LaSalle down low. And he has been that guy all year.
I think it's also worth mentioning when we say a guy's a guard, it really... The word forward next to a guy's position is used very sparingly.
It is.
So when you're calling a 6'5" guy a forward, that's a very big indicator in my opinion because Cam Crawford's 6'5" as well. He's listed as a guard, plays small forward, still listed as a guard. Alex Williams plays like a true forward. So I think that's a great choice.
Remember the joke I always say?
He plays like a linebacker.
He plays like a linebacker on the basketball court. I will say that until the season is over.
Yes.
So who we got for you?
You'd be absolutely right. I'm going to go Terrence Ginyard for my player to watch. It just feels like whenever he is able to be turning it on offensively, this team rarely, if ever, loses. the game against St Bonaventure, their last loss. 12 points. He also has 12 assists. However, when he's scoring, this Duquesne team really doesn't lose. I mean, you look at his last two performances, 27 and 18. 27 against Bonaventure, 27 versus GW. 18 against St. Bonaventure, 23 in the win against Loyola Chicago, only 9 in that loss at Dayton on 2 of 9 shooting, not his best day from the field. However, that Davidson game, 24, he was the man in that. He was the man in charge of that offense. He was on fire. Whenever he's running this offense efficiently and getting it going offensively as well, this Duquesne team is impossible to beat because Jimmy Williams usually is doing the same thing. So you got two guys at the top that you have to defend. Then Alex Williams is a guy coming off the bench. Other Williams, capable player like Yak. You got Dave Dixon out there as well. Big John is still John Hewley IV, a very good offensive talent. Duquesne's got a lot of weapons here, and they make they almost dare you. Say, hey, guard these guys. You still can't guard them, but guard them, because then we'll beat you other ways. We'll beat you with Alex Williams having 25 in a win over GMU. So they're very versatile, but I think that Terrence Ginyard has to set the tone offensively. He can score at will, and I hope he does in this one, because it's fun to watch from just even a A10 fan standpoint.
Oh, 100%.
So let's get to the game picks. I won't put you on the spot first, because I do think that LaSalle and Duquesne Wednesday night, I don't think it ends up being much of a contest. I think that this Duquesne team right now is a wagon. Quite frankly, if you watch them play, they're winning. They're winning in every sense of the word. Any way you want it, they've been giving it to you. They beat up on Rhode Island, score 88 against GW, win in a grinded out type game against GMU, and then go to the Riley Center and go through a lot of adversity, but are incredibly resilient and find a way to win. I think this is one of those games where you can breathe easy as a Dukes fan. You can enjoy your Wednesday nights. Could this come back to be clipped and haunt me? Probably.
For our sake, hopefully not.
Really good. It could. However, I don't think that's the case. I think Duquesne wins this one easy. I think they win this by a comfortable 14-point margin. I think they win this one 78-64. That is my final score prediction.
That's a good one. It's so hard to gauge because
I hate doing final scores, by the way.
I know.
I could get the game right, but then feel like, oh, God, I was way off on how I thought this game would go based on the score.
I think the biggest thing
Drives me
that
nuts.
I am a little not leery of, but I know didn't check it fully, but I remember when I was looking, LaSalle was like 1-10 on the road. They've been I think they're literally the worst team in the A10 on the road. And I know right now it's been a tough look for them because they're on a 5-game losing streak.
5 games skip.
And 2 of those were to Fordham and Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago, by the way, is dead last in the A10.
It's a bad loss.
So that's as bad as you can get. And so my belief is the
5
road
straight
struggles.
after beating Dayton.
Yeah. I mean, I see the road struggles continuing. If they can't go and beat teams like Fordham and Loyola Chicago on the road, I don't see how it's going to end well here. I'm going to say I'll say a 9-point. I think LaSalle and Duquesne get into some scrappy games, some very low-scoring contests. Nothing crazy. I would say games are like crazy, like Fordham or Bonnie's, where it just, I swear to God, every time those, like when we play Fordham or Bonnie's, chaos ensues. So I think Duquesne is going to take it.
It's chaotic.
I'm going to say 75-66 as the final score. I don't think LaSalle just has the firepower to keep up, especially with the issues they've had shooting the ball this year. I just see that coming back to really hurt them and what's going to be potentially their 6th straight loss in a row.
Yeah, see, the way I see this game is don't overthink it.
No.
The better team is Duquesne. I think, quite frankly, no exaggeration, Duquesne's a better team. I think a lot of people can agree. I don't think this is a trap game by any means. I just think that Duquesne is a better team. Just don't overthink it.
Yeah.
That'll do it for the Duquesne Sports Pregame Show. For Nick Fernbaugh, I'm Jack Morgan. We're saying so long and enjoy the game, everyone.